I grew up with my parents being pastors. And then I have become a pastor myself. I'm a pastor myself right now. And I have pastors' kids as children. And so I have watched people get hurt. I have watched betrayal. I have been betrayed. I have seen so much stuff happen in the church. And so I just have a desire to see people's lives healed in this area. It is so important that God brings healing, because I feel like there are so many wounded pathfinders, and their lives are on a path that God did not intend them to be on, because of the hurt or the betrayal, the pain that they experienced when they became vulnerable in spiritual communities. When you become vulnerable in a spiritual community, you do that trusting God that He sent you to that place. And so God's desire is to always multiply your sphere, to cause your sphere of influence to increase, to surround you with people who know you, who see you, who can help you, who you can refresh, and they can refresh you as well. And so spiritual communities, our churches, need to be filled with friends, with family members, people that we can be safe with. That is the goal of our spiritual communities, to be a safe place so that when people come in, they're safe. People are dealing with all kind of, listen, when you are dealing with stuff, you do not need to come home and deal with more junk. You need to come home to a safe place. That is why we have shelter. And so spiritual communities are to be shelter for people who have just been run down and they're tired. And so when we come into our spiritual communities, He is calling us to come into a place of friendship with the people around us, so that we can be safe, so that we can grow, so that we can get rid of some of our junk. Because when you're in a spiritual community, guess what? If you're dealing with people, there's always going to be junk. There is no perfect spiritual community. There's no perfect church. And if you come to a perfect church, I love this saying, if you come into a perfect church and you join, guess what? It's imperfect now because you're there. And so spiritual communities are not going to be perfect. Why? Because there's people there. We're filled with stuff. We've dealt with stuff. We had stuff imparted into us when we were kids. We had stuff imparted into us when, as adults, we've dealt life, sometimes out some really tough cards. And so all of us are in places where we need healing, situations, issues that need to be healed, that need to be touched. And so when we come into a spiritual community, we're coming into that place so that we can be safe, so that we can be healed. And so this is so very important as you come into spiritual community. Just love, we need some tools. When you go into a spiritual community, you need to have more than just your feelings for that spiritual community. You need to understand how things work. You need to understand how the Spirit moves on your life and gives you wisdom to keep you from being taken advantage of. And not only that, to protect those that you are coming in covenant with as well. Talk some more about this. We are going to heal the scars, the wounds that have been given to some of us and given to some of our pastors, some of our pastors' wives, our pastors' kids, some of our partners in church have been wounded, and we are done with being wounded. We want to see healing. We are making a demand on God for healing in this hour concerning this.